All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural edition of Blocks and Bites, the technology and grilling podcast. Today, we've got a fun show. I've got my guest, a buddy of mine who I've known for a few years here through the V community. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, Paul, good to see you. It's been a little while since we've talked, but super glad to be on here. My name is Tim Davis. I'm a cloud developer advocate with VMware, and I love to cook. So I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great one.
Excellent. So I let the guests, the theme here is we're going to talk some tech and we're going to grill some food. I kind of let the guests pick out what they want to cook. So what are we cooking today, good sir?
So today we're going to do chicken wings.
All right. And first question is, why chicken wings?
I like them. They're tasty. They can be. So with me, like I do a lot of foods. Obviously, I love steak. I love beef. I'm from Texas. We do briskets. My favorite thing to do is chicken. I think I'm the best at it. Now, people like Sean O'Dell will give me a lot of garbage for that because he's like, it's Texas and you like chicken. I do like chicken. It's very good. It can be done a plethora of ways, and chicken wings are just my favorite. It's a good party food. It's a finger food. They're always a plus.
Excellent. So follow-up question, are you a charcoal man? Are you a propane man? What is your preferred style of grill?
Well, today I'm going to be using the Traeger Timberline 850, but next to me here, I'll kind of pick up and move just a tiny bit here. I've also got my XL Big Green Egg. So, with me, I like wood fire cooking. I had a charcoal grill or a gas grill for a while. I love the convenience of, push a button, get heat. But now with the Traeger, I have the ability to push a button and get heat, and it's still wood fired. But then, of course, you can never go wrong with a Big Green Egg.
Right. Yeah. On my end here, we've got the second camera view that's kind of freaking out a bit. We're doing the old school Weber grill that's just about as old as I am. Actually, it's probably older. It's came from my mother's, or not my mother's, my wife's grandmother's home. So we've got a mixture of lump charcoal and Kingsford charcoal. Most of the time I would try to do some sort of wood, or I will do charcoal. It's just my preference. I've got a bit of I don't know if you want to say stick up my butt about how I grill. I definitely like the slow and the low, like the manual cooking that goes along with wood fire, my smoker's manual. I load it with logs. I'm out there hacking them up, throwing them in myself. So that's just my preferred style. That being said, I made a pretty mean pork belly on a propane grill a few weeks ago that was pretty surprised with the way it turned out, just using offset heat in a smoke box. So I might be able to be converted a little bit here when it comes to the to the propane, but I can absolutely understand and appreciate the ease and just, hey, here's fresh fire for your food.
Exactly right.
All right, so I've already pre-seasoned my wings here just because trying to set up cameras and get the grill going, I didn't want to get my stuff covered in salmonella. Wouldn't be fun. But
right.
But you have not actually done any prep work yet. So what do you got going on that side? Why don't we talk about that?
I have done minimal prep work, and I'll explain here. So when I do chicken wings, I do the full wing. I don't butcher into the drum and the flat piece. I like to keep them together. Okay. There is one caveat to that. I cut the flapper off. So I do have the full wing pieces. I leave them intact just the way they are. That was a tip that I got a while back, where with skin on chicken, the more cuts that you make into it, the more places you have for moisture to escape. So as few cuts as humanly possible with the chicken. And that's been really successful with me. That, and, it's just easier to grab a whole wing piece and go for it. And, it always makes for good cooking. And I'm going to season with the only thing that I use pretty much, exclusively at this point in time, the Meat Church Holy Voodoo. I'm a huge fan of Matt's and everything that he does. A side story to that is one of the reasons why I like Matt so much is because he was a local VMware customer here before he retired to do Meat Church full time. He worked at a local customer. He did his thing. He just kind of did barbecue on the side. And there was one time, I'm sure you're familiar with the V brisket guys. Well, we talked to
Yep,
them and had
absolutely.
some meetings with them, and they allowed us to do a Beef Brisket Texas event once. And we put that together down here locally, and we actually had Matt out to talk tech and barbecue at the same time. So that's when I met him the first time, got into his stuff, and I've been pushing it ever since. But this Holy Voodoo is basically his, Tony Sachery's Creole. And oh man, this has become my new all-purpose rub. I put this stuff, when I say everything, I literally put it on everything. Chicken, any kind of meat, eggs, use it to, rim the glass of your Bloody Mary, put it on popcorn. This stuff literally is good on everything. So I buy it by the pound now.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I've only had the gospel from Meat Church. And actually I just used up the last little. Yeah, that seems like a solid all-purpose rub as well. I used that one up last weekend on my, I did a pork shoulder that I got from a friend. Long, weird story, but I got 9 pounds of pork shoulder for free. So I was like, well, we'll smoke it up and eat it.
Yes,
so
please.
Yeah, I am currently out of, yeah, right? That's very fortunate for somebody who loves to grill and barbecue. Yeah. So yeah, I currently used up all of my, my Meat Church. But so today, free commercial, I guess, for my local butcher shop, Danny's Meats. Today I'm trying their Southwestern barbecue rub. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's get a little zoom in. Yeah, there we go. So I've used some of their different seasonings before, and they've all turned out very well. So I was in the store picking up some fresh chicken wings today, and I grabbed that. I'm like, well, we'll give that one a shot. And then, unlike you though, they did have the all the pre-sliced apart chicken wings. Let's see if we can get to this camera.
Fine. Yeah, the drums and the flats. No worries.
Yep. So I don't know why that camera's being so weird. We'll try this one here real quick. So I pre-seasoned those, give those a good rub down. All right. So, and as I said, on our little pre-call here, I cannot see your screen. So are you seasoned? Are you ready? Or are you not quite there yet?
I am seasoned. I am good to go and ready to throw these things on.
All right. So do you do a direct on the heat, or do you do an offset heat when it comes to the chicken wings?
So with this, it is not offset heat. But there is a deflector plate in, so it is offset heat, if that makes sense. The heat source is directly under, and I do the same thing whether I'm using the egg or whether I'm using the Traeger. I do indirect heat on these, but I also do it really hot and fast. So right now I have the Traeger set for 500 degrees. Okay. So I've got it pushed up there, and we're gonna put them on there, flip them over a couple of times. But I'll push them up until it reads about 185 or 190 on the instant read.
All right. I'm putting mine on as we talk here. I've got very hot fire going on here. I'll go around the edges a bit. Yeah, I know, caveman. All right. So as we load the grill, it's called out. This is in fact still a technology blog, podcast, video, show, whatever. So. I know we got the fun stuff out of the way, the grill. Now we got to get to work. So what are you seeing now? Obviously, it's a crazy, strange world. The original premise for this show was actually going to be when I traveled to VMUGs, VMworld, various conferences, or even on the road for work, I was going to go to people's homes or, parking lots outside of hotels. And we were going to grill together and talk technology. Now, with all the travel restrictions going on, obviously that's not happening. So we came up with the let's do it over Zoom solution. So what are you seeing now, especially in your role with the cloud advocacy? What are you seeing out of clients? What are you seeing even in your day-to-day life when it comes to cloud adoption and technology? Where are you seeing that kind of fill in?
We are seeing a lot of remote work. And we're seeing a lot of remote work from customers who at one point in time were quoted saying, my employees can't work from home, it's impossible. Well, not only was it possible, but now they're having to figure that out really quickly. So, solutions like VDI are getting really huge right now. VMware's EUC business unit is just going like crazy, trying to help customers catch up and keep up and make sure that they can handle, the new way that we seem to be doing business these days. Yeah,
I will say, sorry, I'm adjusting one of the cameras, so I'm off frame.
Oh, no worries.
There we go. So what I'm actually seeing is, or it's funny you say, you know, you can't work from home and all of a sudden you can. It'll be interesting to see how many of these companies actually shift back to the office model once all of this passes, or some who say, you know, we don't need all that floor space. Maybe let's just keep a smaller office with a conference room, something where we can utilize that, you know, for a meeting. But would you think it's fair to say we finally have the year of EDI?
Oh, I've been saying that, you know, on New Year's Day, quoting and tagging a bunch of people that I know don't care for it anymore. I've been saying that every year, but I really, truly think that when I said it this year, it is actually true now. Now, if I'm the reason this happened, I want to apologize to everybody because that's my fault. But I definitely think this, for all of the years that have been the year of EDI, this is finally the one. With everybody trying to figure out how to work remote, how to do new things. And especially I've seen a lot of adoption more towards public cloud, people trying to get out of the data center business. There are customers that have already realized just in this quick few months, hey, we don't need all of this office space. And if we don't need all this office space, let's see if we can get out of our data center, you know, go to the cloud or get somewhere else so that we don't have to not only manage office facilities, but also our own data center facilities.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I would say that the sudden move to a mobile workforce has thrust the cloud life upon businesses who may not have even had it on their radar. And like what I was seeing. So those who don't know me, I'm I don't know what title you want to call me, systems engineer around data center, systems engineer around hybrid cloud and data center. I don't know. I can fudge my title about 16 different ways, but it boils down to data center technologies, cloud technologies, and how they all play together. But what we're seeing right away is, okay, we can put some systems up in the cloud. People can remote into them. We can't get in and put in this upgrade, or we need to add these servers. We can't do it. Like data centers were actually locking people out. They couldn't get in and do the work.
Exactly.
So the sudden and fast adoption of the cloud, now it's also a rush to get it secured.
Yes, you're absolutely right. With all of this new technology, new access methods, new things that they're doing, you've got to make sure that you're staying on top of security the whole way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Not only like locking down the cloud instances, whether it be Amazon, Azure, not only like locking the perimeter down in your virtual cloud, but also the endpoints. A lot of people are now also slowly realizing we gave a lot of our customers or our clients, our employees, access on their home laptops, their iPads, anything to get them going. Now, how do we secure those? What are we looking at from a technology like mobile device management? So there's a lot of those conversations going on now as well that, hey, you know, you've been using this laptop at home for about 2 months now. How about we throw an agent down here that just makes sure we're not stealing corporate data? Or let's get a VPN installed so we're not, you know, allowing the bad guys into our network.
I can't imagine how many people were suddenly made local administrator on a laptop that they had no business being that on. And it was just like, here, go home, go do this. Because if you need something, they're not going to want to, you know, mess with it. Not a lot of folks these days necessarily had, you know, a go to my PC or something where they could remotely access a PC to type in an administrator password to do some work. So I'm sure you're seeing a ton of that.
Oh yeah. So in you know, in the wild, when you're working with customers, how many were, I guess, let me phrase it this way. I've got a client who honestly back in 08, I think it was 07 when swine flu came around, I don't recall it being that big of a deal. I remember hearing about it on the news, but they took it very seriously. And they actually prepared, they had a disaster plan should something like that happen again. So when COVID-19 rolled around, they actually just enacted this plan. Now, that being said, there's ample other clients that were not quite ready. And it was a fire drill to get stuff ready. Have you actually encountered many companies that were ready, or has it been just a lot of fire drills out there?
I am blown away by the story you just told because I have never met a customer like that before. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some of my customers that are watching this that are not going to be pleased with that, but not to say that the people that I'm talking to don't have their business together. They're not figuring it out in the most elegant way they possibly can. But I don't know anybody who had a true, pandemic preparedness plan or something of that nature, where if something like this happens, they flip the switch and they start rolling. I don't think anybody, even up until, March, really took it seriously enough that they realized that this was going to happen.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that you're not the only one who's blown away. I was blown away. Like, I understand like having like a failover plan if you lose an office building.
Oh, for sure.
For them to actually come out and say, yeah, oh, for sure. But to actually come out and say, hey, we've got a disaster plan for a pandemic, that was rather impressive.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm gonna clap for whomever put that into place, because whatever amount of money they're making is not enough. That's brilliant. You would think that everybody would be like that, and it's not the case. Nobody really, this is America, this is the world, like, we're good, we'll figure things out. But man, this hit us in a way that we entirely were not prepared for.
Right. Yeah. So I just flipped my wings. Gave them a few minutes here on one side. I'm flipping them.
I gave mine a little flip here as well, just a minute or two ago.
And the joys of figuring out the home setup here. Getting the videos out here. Hey, Cannoli, come here. Come on, come be on the show. The dog wanted to come out in the backyard. I could watch her just staring at me through the patio door. So she's now out here, just exploring the grounds. So
now let's recap right here. You have a dog named Cannoli.
I do have a dog named Cannoli. She's an 8-year-old Shiba Inu. Technically her full legal name is Obi-Wan Cannoli.
That's fantastic. I love that.
And oddly enough, that wasn't my choice. My wife and a few of her friends came up with that.
That's fantastic.
Here, puppy.
Oh, look at the puppy. Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah. Say hello to the world. Say hi, Cannoli. All right.
Great looking pup.
Oh, yeah. She's a pretty good girl.
I have a 125-pound Great Pyrenees who is inside licking his lips right now, who could take me on in order to get to the chicken wings.
So are you going to pick them up for the camera as well?
I cannot do that. No, I also have a little lab mix as well. I've had her for 13 and a half years now or something like that. She just kind of hangs out and does whatever she wants. But Sam, he's a giant lap dog. He wants to be involved. He wants to do his own thing. And he would be definitely trying to get the wings.
We had a small debacle back here. I don't know if you caught it. The wind picked up and my raw chicken paper blew. So thankfully it didn't land on anything.
Still good.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we got the chicken cooking. I actually didn't look at any sort of clock when I put them on. So I don't know if you caught a time or if you know how long they've been in.
I do not. I really don't. But I don't cook to time. So I cook to temp.
Yeah, when it comes to something like this, I'll kind of I don't have a thermometer. Well, I do, it's in the house, but I don't usually like stick them. I just kind of flip them a few times, kind of go by feel, which is, I know, risky with chicken, but it's small pieces of chicken on a super hot grill. You're going to be able to see pretty well when they're ready. But that being said, when I did that pork shoulder, I just picked up a nice, rather small, but Weber Bluetooth remote or smoker thermometer that I was just able to put the probe right into the shoulder and walk away and just be able to check it anywhere in the house and monitor that temperature. That was awesome.
It's Weber. Was it the iGrill?
Yeah, just the single probe iGrill. Yep.
Excellent. I have an iGrill 2 that I use when I need extra probes, and I really, really like that thing. I wish it was Wi-Fi. The Traeger here has the Wi-Fi and stuff like that, so I've got a single probe port that I can put on. I can control the grill's temp and check the probe and everything from anywhere because it's on Wi-Fi.
Nice.
But if I need extra ones and I'm sitting around, the Weber iGrill is a great tool. I've had that since I first started cooking. It's a great, piece of tech.
Yeah, when I do my smoking, I've just typically watched the temperature, kept it at like my desired temperature for X amount of time. And then that's always worked for my cooking. With this though, it was nice because I knew I wanted that pork shoulder to hit 190. And then I just kind of kept feeding the grill. I wasn't so focused on like maintaining that temperature because I do when I smoke, it's a long process and I spend my day doing it. Like it's kind of like a nice little escape, getting away from things because all I'm doing is focusing on that grill. But when it comes time for, maintaining that temperature, it can be a little bit of a hassle. So to know like, okay, we're at 145, 146, 147, it's kind of been stable for a while, go throw a little bit more wood in there, get the temperature going. So that was kind of nice. It was a little bit nice change of pace.
You and I are different. I like long cooks and stuff like that too, but even with my egg, I'm not a purist when it comes to temperature management. So like I've got the Flame Boss controller for my Big Green Egg as well. And that's one thing where, I mentioned earlier, we had, Matt from Meat Church out to do a V Brisket Texas event. And that was something where one of the first questions he got was, how do you feel about pellet grills or electric grills and stuff like that? And his answer was simple. It was, who cares? You can be a purist and do a stick burn if you want, great. If you want to tender it all night, great, you do you. But he's like, look, don't ruin a good brisket over ego. Like if you use a temperature controller, does it make good food? Yes. Okay, then perfect. Use that. Use whatever means necessary to enjoy what you're doing and to make good food. And that's one thing that stuck with me because, sitting there tending to it and messing with it, you don't have to do that so much with the egg. Once you figure out how your grates work or your vents work, once you get it set, that thing will hit a temperature and stay there for days until you run out of charcoal. So that's, a little bit easier, but just to be sure so I can sleep at night. I like the temperature controller, and I'm definitely not going to ruin a good piece of meat just to say that I stayed up all night messing with it. No, I'm just going to go to sleep. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have good brisket.
Right. Yeah, when I've done brisket, I don't do them overnight, but I will get up at like 3 a.m. to get them going, so that way they're ready.
Oh yeah.
By the time I want them. So makes for a long day, and you crack open a cocktail maybe a little bit earlier in the day than you should because you've already been up for 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever. But yeah, it's a fun day. So.
Hey, I don't know what you're saying. Nobody drinks while they, cook. That's blasphemy.
That's actually
you can't tell, but I'm sitting here drinking out of my Yeti.
And that's something I realized after we got started recording here and cooking that I don't have any kind of beverage to help me along. So next episode we'll introduce, or at least on my end, it'll be barbecue and bourbon. Because that's my go-to sipper while I'm sitting here grilling. So
that's beautiful. I love it. So I just checked my temperature a few minutes ago, and I was about 120 or so on the wings. Now, FDA safe temperature for chicken is 165. Oh, now I'm at 130-ish there. Oh, that one's 160. Oh, it's getting there. Okay. So 165 is the safe temperature for chicken. But one thing that I found is that if you pull it at 165 and it's skin on, sometimes the skin's not quite done yet. Now, if you're doing direct heat like you are, that'll kind of take care of that skin at the same time. But since I do indirect and I try to, do it the indirect smoking type method, if you push it up higher, you can get chicken all the way up to 195 and the skin will be good and it'll still be juicy. So that's kind of the balance you have to find of making the skin done and making sure that it doesn't dry out. But I mean, like I said, anywhere from 165 to 195 and your chicken's still good to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just double checked mine here. So what I'm going for here is several minutes on the first side, flip them over, do another several minutes. We'll flip it back over and just see how crunchy the skins are. And then I'll kind of gauge off of that if it's going to be a shorter, longer period of time. But realistically or ideally, like the first flip is probably 5-ish, 8-ish minutes, and then another 5-8 on the opposite side. Get a nice temperature going all the way through, and then just kind of go from there. Keep an eye on like the hot spots in the fire, move them around a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, a little bit more hands-on, but I did build quite a large coal base. So I wanted to make sure we weren't here for an hour and a half trying to cook some chicken wings. So
yeah, and you said that you used a mixture of lump and regular charcoal briquette. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, I was running low. Yeah, today I was running low on the charcoal. So I was like, oh, let's do a little bit of a mix. Like when I start my smoker, I'll throw just a pile of charcoal in there with some of the lump The charcoal gets a good base, and I'll start adding actual wood chunks to it once the base is there. But
what do you
yeah,
normally use more of, the briquette or the lump?
Well, once, so in the Weber grill, in the kettle grill here, I'll do 99% of the time it'll be just briquette.
Okay.
But today it was just a little bit different. Again, because charcoal stash was low.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so it's like, well, it's a little bit low, and I used the standard original flavor or unflavored. I also had a bag of applewood seasoned lump, applewood seasoned briquettes, and I'm like, it's chicken, it could work. I just don't want to, use that on this one.
So the fruit wood is my thing for any form of chicken or pork. Any light meat like that, or even a turkey. If you're going to do like applewood or peach or something like that, I love the fruit woods when you're smoking, some form of light meat. Pecan is generally my everyday use, or the general purpose that kind of goes across the board. I absolutely refuse to use mesquite simply because so little of that goes such a long way. It's really, really easy to over smoke something with mesquite, so I just stay away from that entirely. Post oak is a Texas staple around here since there's so much of it. That's also a good multi-purpose wood as well.
Yeah, when it comes to the white meats, the porks, applewood, cherrywood. I've also done a blend of hickory and mesquite, more hickory than anything, because like you said, that mesquite can really I love hickory. And actually, I just a friend of ours caught a rather large trout, sent it over for me to smoke when I was doing that pork shoulder. And I was like, all right, well, it's getting smoked on applewood. I wouldn't normally think to do it with applewood, but that's what was in the smoker. So
I'll bet that was fantastic.
I can't complain.
The pellets that I'm using in the Traeger right now is a brand that I get at the local smoke shop here, and their signature blend is a mixture of hickory, oak, and a little bit of cherry, and it's a great mixture for whatever you want to do. It adds a tiny bit of sweetness, but not too much.
Okay. All right, let's get time for another flip here. Oh yeah, these looking
back over as well.
Looking real good on this side.
Oh, these are looking fantastic.
Got some pretty thick drummies here, so we're gonna move them a little bit closer to the flame. Move these flats out of the way. So you said you don't actually split yours; they come as all one big piece.
Yes.
That being said, when you go out for wings, pardon the dog, she hears something. When you go out for wings, are you a drummy, or are you a flat, or are you a I don't care, I love wings?
So that's a question that I get a lot of crap for. I'm a drum guy. I am an all drum guy, and I know I catch a lot of flack for that because the flat is kind of the purest chicken wing, but I'm a drum guy. I dig it. Now, in all fairness, half the time I forget, and I'm not going to complain. Chicken wings are chicken wings. I'll grab that joint of the flat, put the whole thing in my mouth, and pull it out 2 bones. So I'm not going to complain either way. But if I have my picks, I'm generally an all drum guy.
And I am in the exact same camp as you. I am a drum guy. My wife loves the flats. It actually prevents a lot of fights because we can easily divvy up the wings.
Exactly.
We knew we were meant to be when we discovered I was a drummy and she was a flat. It was perfect.
That's excellent. Now, the only difference is that I like spicy wings and my wife doesn't. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the same here. So, all right. Question for you.
Yes.
Looking forward, with the remaining 5-ish, 6, what do we, I can't math, 5 months left in the year. Where do you see, what do you think are some big announcements or some kind of big revelations that might come out of the whole work from home and technology aspects? Do you foresee any major shift in the workforce that's going to be permanent? Or are you kind of thinking there's going to be some kind of new technology that pops up that we might not even be thinking about yet?
And if I knew of a new technology that would help this, that, wouldn't that hasn't been come up with yet, I would be all set. That would be excellent. I would have some money coming my way. At this point in time, I think we're doing the best we can with what we've got. I definitely think that a lot of people had been talking the past few months about when it goes back to normal, I don't think it will. I think we're going to figure out what our new normal looks like. We used to see the videos on the news of the people in China who are always wearing masks and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't understand that. Well, that's going to be a thing in America now. You're going to see a lot of people who just wear masks now. You're going to see people on Twitter who are complaining not to wear masks. And that's the reason why Texas might shut down again. Oh God. It's just, I think we're going to have to find the balance of, being as we are shut down or not being shut down, but not going out and being in large groups and doing all that, which is really unfortunate because, for conferences and stuff like where we met and, the times that we generally see each other, those are great times. It's going to be sad if we don't get to have, it exactly the way that it was before. But we got to do what we got to do to make sure everybody stays healthy, everybody stays alive. Technology is doing the absolute best we can. Now, there's been technology around for years that we just never utilized to its fullest potential because we didn't have to, do this. VPN vendors and stuff like that are going crazy right now. EUC vendors are going crazy right now for any kind of remote connectivity or access solutions. We're going to see those pick up and keep being big, I think. And, businesses are going to have to figure out from a continuity perspective, are we going to stay where we're at? Are we going to go back to work and then possibly get, pulled out again? We're going to have to figure out what that looks like and kind of move forward with what we've got. If there's some new technology that's coming out that's going to make this easier, I'm excited to hear what it is. But, obviously, I'm not the smart guy to think of it yet. I'm going to take a look here. My color and everything's looking fantastic.
Excellent. Yeah, let's take a sneaky peek. Yep, these are getting there as well.
75,
a couple more minutes on this side.
78.
Oh, they're smelling really good. It's going to drive me nuts.
94. I think mine are about done.
Awesome.
90,
well, sir.
Yeah. And I just realized that I forgot my clean pan. So I got to run inside real quick and grab my clean pan.
All right. Well, I'm opening up my grill here for what I think should be the second to last time. I'm about to flip my wings for their final journey. How are yours looking, good sir?
Mine, I believe, are pretty close to done. Let me check the temperatures here. The color and grill marks and everything look fantastic. Let's see, 170. These are all done as far as the FDA is concerned, it's looking like. 200. We always want to be food safe,
Oh, absolutely. Especially with chicken.
All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and pull mine off.
Excellent. Well, while you do that, what do you have any projects that you're working on, or blogs, podcasts, anything outside of obviously starring on the inaugural episode here of Blocks and Bites? Anything you want to share with the people?
Hey, at this point in time, I'm just, crunching along, having customer meetings, trying to figure out how we can make VMware no longer a 4-letter word in the app dev community. So, anybody that follows your stuff here, if you're watching, reach out to your local developers and tell them we're not a bad company. VMware is not just the legacy data center company. We're not just trying to get in the way of true progress when it comes to app dev and, deployments and new technologies. With the Heptio acquisition, with Cloud Health, we're doing so much in the public cloud space. We're doing a bunch in the cloud native space. We've brought Pivotal back in to help with our cloud native story. So we're really pushing to be developer focused. We're trying to be a strong player in the DevOps industries. So, give us a shot. Make sure everybody realizes that we're not just the SDDC stack these days.
Well, that's certainly true, and it makes me think of Tanzu and Project Pacific, which was just announced last year.
Exactly right.
So I think we've got ourselves a future topic for a Blocks and Bites podcast. I'll have to find somebody who's willing to talk about the world of VMware and DevOps here. So
I can call somebody out and recommend that right now. So Scotty Ray. If
Okay.
you see this, I'm going to make sure he sees this. Scotty Ray talking Tanzu. That guy knows how to cook. He knows how to smoke. So he'd be a great guest for you for that.
Excellent. Well, I thank you for that guest recommendation, and I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I know it was kind of short notice to, ask you to take we've probably been at this, before, like a little bit of pre-setup, over an hour now. So I want to thank you for some short notice time.
Hey, man, it was great talking to you. Great catching up and hanging out. Always a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And to all of you at home watching, thank you for watching the first episode. I appreciate that. These wings are almost done. They're getting there. The smoke is really rolling here. So again, yeah, I'm really excited for these. The overhead camera angle, again, I'll work on that. I don't know why it's being so flickery, but any episode ideas, any topics, if you want to be a guest, if you want to cook some food and talk tech, please reach out. You can hit me on Twitter at ExploreVM. You can also, I did lock down the at Blocks and Bytes handle. There'll be a website coming soon. But for the time being, you can find all of your information around Blocks and Bytes at explorevm.com. This video will be hosted on YouTube as well as the ExploreVM Facebook page. And again, if you want to be a guest, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or email me, paul@explorevm.com. Once again, everybody, thank you.